we stopped. The Rebbe said initially that the Ratzon is at a distance from the koiches and from the ivorim. But then he says, but it's impossible to say that it is at a distance and doesn't connect, because it has an effect. It actually affects them and acts through them. Therefore, there has to be a connection.
Ratzon is at a distance of?
So, what?
Ratzon is at a distance of?
Of the other limb, of the limbs
The
that it affects of the koiches. Okay, we have the place, right?
Sorry, say again. Kuchafei.
7 line.
Into the second paragraph.
Uh-huh. Starting is with word klal,
Thank you.
and it is, I think, that line. No, not that line. So,
7th line over here starts klal.
yeah, klal. I would like to reintroduce Ratzon. It's like an elusive thing. Particularly, it lends itself to be completely misunderstood and misinterpreted, because of the fact that we have in world level Ratzon. I desire something because it's tasty. This is not the essence of Ratzon we are talking about. It's a desire for an experience. That's not the koyach ha-nefesh at all. It comes from the nefesh, of course, because the nefesh gives life to the person. But it's a bodily experience. Ratzon, as we said before, it defies all reasoning. So I was thinking, how do we help ourselves to focus in on Ratzon and to be able to identify it in some kind of a perspective. And what occurred to me is that one of the illustrations that we've used in the past comes in very handily in explaining Ratzon. And that is when we have what the Gemara says, Odom shein lebayis ein odom. That the bayis, the home, is an essential aspect of a human being. Without that, he is not a full-fledged human being. And we explained it because a human being is by definition, has to affect the world. To affect the world, he has to have a place in the world. And if he does not have this place, he's not a full-fledged human being. He didn't start his human function as yet, or human presence. So, following through on this, as we enter a home, we immediately become confronted and aware of this home being a home. There's a host. It's a dwelling for a human being. We observe all the furnishings and all other amenities of this home. And that immediately brings to the foreground, it brings to our awareness that we are in the proximity and in the environment of a human being, because of all these different things that are manifesting his presence. These manifestations are identified by our intellect. You see a fully furnished, well-appointed home, we immediately recognize there is somebody living here. This home was not built for naught with all of these amenities. And therefore, we have become fully aware of the truth of the human being living in the home. Now, compare that awareness to coming into the home, as we said many times, and you see the human being sitting there. And he actually gets up and welcomes you. In this situation, your awareness of him and of his presence is not via any kind of experience, any kind of proof, an interrelationship. You identify the reality of this presence of the home, of the human being with the home, as a reality, not by any kind of.
Someone mentioned you didn't call in.
I didn't call in. Yeah, I know, but I decided that.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you. I think I mentioned it.
Welcome to ID. Welcome. At the tone, please record your name followed by the pound key.
I'm PALTIEL.
Thank you. You're now participant number 1.
So in that case, where there is the actual presence of the host of this home, the effect of this presence is not via any kind of awareness, any kind of experience. What he looks like and what he's doing on such other types of interactions. It is the simple presence itself. There's an interesting human phenomenon. If you have to bathe yourself, you have to get dressed. And you're looking for a private moment where you can get dressed, other than in a mikveh. And look around, there are people there, but then nobody cares about, nobody's looking at you. You will still definitely feel uncomfortable. Even though you're observing, they're preoccupied in their own thing. They're present, their very presence affects you. This presence, as mentioned many times, the human presence is not to be is not definable by its functionality, by what he is doing and what way he's looking. His very presence is of such reality that it affects you. And when you are in this home and he is there, your sense of respect for this home is way beyond the reaction that you may get from him. This is just to illustrate, to make us realize that there are categories of awareness that are beyond rationale. This awareness is what's called relating to the reality itself. Ratzon is reflecting this reality. What is Ratzon? He wants. Ratzon is, as we said, Ratzon cannot be identified with what you want. The very fact of wanting is already an expression of recognition of a great reality. This recognition of reality is not recognition of reality as I experience it. Here's the point that I want to make. It is not recognition of reality as I experience it. Like you said in the case where there are people, they're looking at me. They're looking at me as something else. I'm not even experiencing their presence. They're not paying attention to me. The reality that Ratzon identifies with is not a reality that as I experience it. It is the reality, the presence of reality itself. This is a super reality. It's a reality of the creator rather than the created. It's not the reality of the world, the reality of who created the world.
Reality and Ratzon the same, or Ratzon is the one that recognizes reality?
Ratzon recognizes reality and relates to it. As I said, this reality that Ratzon recognizes is not to be rationalized. It is not because of some reaction that one is concerned about.
What's that mean? Reality per se, no features? It's not regarding any element, it's just reality itself, simple reality.
Correct, but even that elaboration is too much in terms of recognition of the concept of reality. Because I said reality, real reality, is a recognition of the presence of the creator rather than the created. What makes the world real? Let's come back to the home. You come into the home and I said it's fully appointed. And you will have a certain sense of derecheret, a certain sense of dignity. You're not going to start moving furnishing around. Why is that? I said it many times. It is not because you have respect for the furnishing. It is by recognizing that this furnishing was put there by a human being who owns his home, who lives here. He's not here right now. But nonetheless, his presence is felt by you, and it's identifiable in every part of the home.
Okay, and this is a mashal for the way that God makes world reality and what's the...
So this reality is known via some functional aspects. Where the seichel identifies, you can see, this is a human dwelling, it's lived in. Ratzon identifies with this reality also. But Ratzon goes a step further than Seichel. Seichel says, hey, he set it up, don't disturb it. Ratzon recognizes his very presence there as a reality, as a human being. Not just the proof of his presence, but the very presence itself. This very presence is like saying, when I see these furnishings, I don't see the furnishing, I see the one who put it there.
And we're saying Ratzon is privy to that level of...
Russian, even the Seichel is privy to that level, but Seichel does not relate to it. Ratzon actually identifies with it.
And here's the house and here's the host.
That's right.
So
And it will behave with deference, not to the house or the furnishings,
Right.
but to the host who put it together.
Uh-huh.
Just 1 second. Going back or coming back to the reality, our recognition of the world and of the grandeur of the world is not via our experience of the world, but via our recognition that this world is a divine creation. And it's not just the world of divine creation. Okay, that's divine creation. We immediately recognize the presence of the Creator. This is why we can stand up and say, Baruch Atah Hashem. And we can say, Moedeh Ani Lefanecha. This is not an imagined relationship. This is
To remain on this call, press 1.
This is a true cognizance. We spoke about yesterday about standing up. The power to stand up, the power for us to walk and pursue a path, even begashmias, is because of the cognizance that there is a reality in which we're walking. We're not walking in no man's land. Ratzon relates to that level of reality. Ratzon, besides Ratzon, when you're in somebody's home, when he's absent, in Seichel, you recognize by indicators that he's there. Ratzon directly connects to the fact that he is there.
Rabbi,
Yeah.
you're describing Ratzon as a form of awareness. How can we call it therefore? Why do we call it Ratzon then? If it's awareness.
It's not a form of awareness. It's the result of awareness, not a form of awareness. It's my reaction to this awareness. I want it. I'm relating to it. I stand in awe of it.
It's not a simple thing.
Marhaba.
You're making it sound like it's a simple, obvious, common experience, but it's not.
It is.
Only by B'nai Aliyah.
No. It is, but because of our being sunk into the world, we push it away.
Well, who sunk us into the world?
Ourselves, our experience.
Well,
Because we pursued pursued our likes and dislikes, our taivas. And therefore we dismiss anything that we don't experience.
So who gave us those titles?
You want to take them to court?
Maybe. I didn't the Berditcher take him to court. Actually, we took him to court a couple of times in history.
Okay. So Ratzon, as we say all the time, is a super quality in the person. This super quality is present in the person as a gift from his creator. Now, when this is, we always say that there is a divine spark in a person. This is a gift from the Mila. This is not part of the creation. From the creation part, it is only that which he experiences, from Seichel on down. And even beyond that, the emotion and other experiences. This is what's real to him. As a matter of fact, there was this genius psychiatrist, psychologist, Freud, who believed that the initial human reality is yestivus.
Is what?
Yestivus. Pleasant. Pleasant is what identifies a human being.
That's accurate for Nefesh Bahamas, or not even?
Not even.
Saying even the animal soul has higher qualities than that.
Even animal soul. I observed one time, I remember what was on the screen. There was an animal torn asunder in the middle, in the wild.
Oh, the disgusting one?
His whole inside was thrown out.
Right, but that's illustrating that even the animal soul has standards?
Even the animal, he couldn't take. The animal looked at it and he turned away. He can eat this. To him, this is food.
But
what was the video or not?
The video was
carrion that was starting to go bad. The hyena wouldn't even eat it. But the animal.
No, he would not even. He looked at it and walked away.
It does seem like Freud's acetate is asserting that the animal soul has its realm of desires, and that's what it's all about. Which seems.
It's not about it, because Maharaya, he would not take that which does not have a sense of reality.
Oh, I thought it just shows it didn't fit into his sense of desire.
No.
The animal soul wants
this
chocolate,
animal, the animal that came
vanilla.
to eat it, he wanted to eat it, but he couldn't bring himself to eat it because of the ugly appearance.
Okay.
But in actual view, I saw this happen. This animal was, all his intestines were thrown out, and this big human animal came up to look, and he looked, and he swung away, and he walked away.
It wasn't rotten. It didn't smell
No, it was
bad.
fresh. It was just attacked.
He wanted a cloth
That's
napkin
that,
and a glass of red wine.
But they eat what they kill. They eat
They
everything.
eat when they kill it, but when they find it destroyed by some other animal, they'll be discriminate.
Unless it's a vulture or a hyena.
Okay.
Well, this is a lion. This was a predator.
Certainly, in the human nefesh habahamis, there are definitely these criteria about it. All right. This aspect of the dignity and self-respect that a human being maintains under all circumstances is a divine gift. This is higher than world experience. This is what puts him a notch above world. And this is where Ratzon comes in. This is why a human being stands up. He doesn't crawl on four. On four it's much more secure. But it's not dignified. His head is supposed to be above. Alright, we underline klal, we have to do some insight. The Ratzon, as we said, the last thing that we pointed out, even though the Ratzon functions and so forth, but nonetheless, it is at a distance from the koiches and the evorim in which it functions. And there is what's called a hamshocha, a draw from the source of Ratzon into this Avon. And the Rebbe says, if it's berichuk, if it does not get involved, what's the hamshocha for?